this is my first live video. Let's see how it goes. I'm just going to start yeah. Just having a look on everything that I've been actually learning little by little on AI and local development. First of all, my name is Alvaro. This is my channel. I've been working as a software developer for quite some time. And I'm currently a director on platform engineering. I'm on a company in Spain. In any case, I've been also very interested on what's happening on the AI world and actually not wanting to completely disconnect from what the world is actually bringing. So today we're going to be looking at how can we use local AI models and are they any useful actually? Because of course the models that you have online like Copilot and others are very powerful. They take a lot of energy and they are also very costly. So how can we actually do this locally is what I'm going to try to have a look today. I've been doing a little bit of research and stuff like that. I'm currently using Mac, but you can do this also on your Linux computer or Windows. I'm going to start using something that is called Oyama that you can actually see here. It's a way of actually running models in your machine. It's a command line tool. It's also an application that you will see. It just provides a server running locally that is going to help you actually run whatever model you actually want. So in any case, I've already downloaded. You can actually download it and install however you actually want. But the interesting part here is if I open a terminal, let me make it actually big. I'm going to be looking at Oyama. Let me go to my workspace. So let's say if we do like Oyama, we can see what kind of things we can actually run in the command line tool. So you can either serve a model, you can create a model from a model file, show, run, stop, pull models from the register they have, push models to the register list. So in any case, what I'm going to start doing is actually to list the models that I have, so you can actually see what I've been using locally. So let's do a Oyama list. So I've been playing with DeepSeek. I also, well, these are some embedded. In general, I've been seeing DeepSeek being the most effective one, but I've also tried Oyama Code, QN, and some other models that are being used for development. So let's start with this. How can we start with it? Well, let me first show you how you can actually find some models. If you go to the website, you can actually see whatever models you want to have a look at. These are the general models. You can use them for also local questioning. If you want, you can, for example, see the DeepSeek one. You will have the amount of parameters here. This is quite an interesting thing. Of course, the lower the amount of parameters, the faster the model runs. Also, the less knowledge the model actually has or is actually able to answer your question. The more parameters it has, the more powerful it actually is, but it also requires more resources. So for running in a local machine, you are normally very limited, probably below, I would say the most you can actually use is the 14 billion parameter one. Don't try the 32. You need a very good machine for actually doing that. But in any case, you can actually do, you have the command line here, and you can just run it and say, hey, I'm going to run this model. And this is the case. I actually have it, so it's just going to run it. But in other case, it will actually just run a pull before, so it's going to actually download it. In any case, the DeepSeek normally, you can actually ask them anything. So who is Bill Gates? And it actually thinks. You can see, same thing that you will probably be able to achieve in your ChatGPT or any other thing. If you want to use this in some software that you have on your computer, there are alternatives for local software to actually run these models and actually treat them as your ChatGPT or any other online model itself. But in any case, today we're not looking at that. We're looking at models for local software development itself. So for this, we actually have alternatives. So what I normally do is code, and you can actually see a lot of the models that you are going to have here. So you have the Code Llama that is based in Llama from Microsoft, Gemma that is called based on Gemma from Google, CodeStral from Mistral, and well, I actually have, like you have seen, a DeepSeek coder. So the DeepSeek coder, there's a V2 and there's a V1, etc., etc. So you can actually just do the run. You can bring whatever you want based on parameters and stuff like that. Of course, by default, you're going to get the V2 with 16 billion parameters. That might take a long time to run on your computer. So be careful on what you actually download. So yeah, in any case, what happens here is that you have now a local model that you can actually run for developing using AI. So how good are these models? Let me try to get this to work on my VS Code itself. So I'll need to disable GitHub Copilot just for it to not interfere with the rest of stuff. So let's see what options we have here for local development. I forgot a little bit the names of the extensions. So extensions AI VS Code. Hey, you can see this is a very live stream where I'm actually remembering myself how and which tools should I actually use. So let me see if I have here the history, most popular, recently published, recommended categories, sort by install count. Well, let me say AI. Continue is one that I've used. Continue, it allows you to actually do code completion using AI. Let's start with this one. Let's start probably with the simple stuff like code completion. I might do other streams with this idea of vibe coding. Ooh. But in reality, it's not going to be vibe coding. It's just going to help me support what I'm trying to do. In any case, you can actually enable, you will have here your, still have my history of stuff that I already asked for. So in any case, what you can actually do with continue, you can do some settings, indexing, shortcuts, code base, help settings. Where are you? Oh yeah, definitely here it is. So you can actually add models to here. You just probably need to say the provider. I'm not going to use anything remote, so I want to do something local. With this, I need to select Oyama in this case. You can see the providers, and it can auto-detect what the provider is going to be. In any case, if you connect this, great. It opens the configuration. In this case, as you can see, this is my previous configuration, still exists. What I'm actually telling them is that I'm going to use my DeepSeek coder for the completions, and it's going to use the instruct model. So there's two types of models normally. If you go here into this DeepSeek or any other model, you're going to have the base model, that is the one that you are normally used to interact with, like chatting, asking stuff directly, things like that. And on the other side, you have the instruct models, that are models that are used for code completions. They are not so good at speaking with humans, so they are mostly working for the code completion itself. Or at least that's what I've learned over my time. If you ask me exactly a little bit more of the deeper knowledge here, I might not be able to answer you completely, so there's still things that I need to learn. There's the part of embeddings, that is actually how it actually creates a set of memory itself. So you can actually also download embeddings models or images in DeepSeek. So if you go to your models here, you can have embeddings, and then you can decide which one you want. In general, I'm trying to get the one that actually has more downloads here, so the Nomic embedded text. There's also a Snowflake one, so feel free, depending on whatever you prefer, to download. In any case, if we go back here, the other thing that I have here is for re-ranking, that there's a re-ranking model. And again, you just need to actually find what model you want to use. As simple as it may seem. So with this in mind, let's try our model itself. So you're going to notice something here with these tabs. So, the models that I actually have here. So you will see that there's the latest one, the 60 billion one. Here I'm doing -8 and latest because I'm actually saving models with a little bit of parameter changes, to put it so. So if I do Control D here, and I do an Oyama DeepSeek coder. I'm going to just start from the beginning. DeepSeek coder v2, and I'm going to take the latest one. I know, code there, no code there. Um, what you can actually see here is that, well, this is the last question that we made it, but you can set some parameter, like the number of context that it's actually going to have. The context is the amount of memory or amount of I want to say memory, but it's not actually memory. The context is around the length of things that it can interpret, remember, etc. So by default, the local ones have this context on a very low setup. For development, that setup is normally better to configure a little bit higher. So normally it's starting to be good at 8,000 characters, to put it so, or bytes, sorry. Probably best if you're at 12,000. The problem is it also gets slower. So here is where you need to decide what makes more sense. More context, slower, less context, faster. So in any case, that's why I set the parameters to 8,000, and that's why you actually see here this one that actually says v2 8,000, because I put the context to those 8,000 bytes, and then I just saved it as the coder 8, and then I have that new model that I can run locally with that parameter configured differently. So this is how you can actually also, with Oyama, change parameters. You just do /set parameter, the name of the parameter, and the value that you can want to actually set up. But in any case, this is probably just a little bit of explanation of how you can configure that. So what then happens with this is that you have a model that you can actually ask questions here. So like, how to create a new Node.js program. And as you can see, this is asking my DeepSeek coder v2 latest with those 8,000 parameters. While this actually happens, I'm just going to start one project. This is actually telling me how to install Node.js. I'm going to view my terminal here. Let's say that, well, I think that I've already installed Node, etc., etc. So I want to run this on the bash. So you can see this has initialized a new Node application. I can actually tell it to apply, could not resolve file path, show logs. As you can see, it's not always working as you expect. So what I want to do here is to, let me delete, move to trash. This is the application. What this is saying is, hey, well, you will probably be fine using an index.js. Great. So if I do a new file here and just say index.js, I can come back here and apply this change. This to the hello world, and it allows me to just, hey, run this, and it actually says hello world. Till here, great. Then you can actually start things more complex. Like it's actually saying npm install express. But let's say I want to do a function and say hello. I can ask continue to explain me this. This is not actually what I want. And normally continue should continue at this point. An interesting thing. Let's say the chat, it's the DeepSeek, the autocomplete is the DeepSeek coder, edits, applies, documentation, prompts. Tools, build existing files, built-in, create new files. Let's say that you do everything automatic. You can add MCP servers. You can add documentation. And I have my local assistant. This is adding new sessions. How can I tell him to continue? There it was. Yeah, so I don't know why it actually takes so long, but let's start from the beginning and say, hey, I want to do a constant, say hello. And it's going to actually say, hey, console, error message. And now here I can say say hello with, this is a test message. So I'm just hitting the tab button itself. And we can actually run this again. And hey, this is a test message. So as you can see, at least for completion, is not being so useless. At least at the beginning, it seemed to actually take a long time to start. So with this in mind, let me think about, I can probably bring one of my open source projects here. So I'm going to go to github.com. Yeah, sure. Let me go to my profile. Which one will I use? I don't really care too much which one. Let's go to REST SQL maybe, or should I go to the feature flags? Let's do this one. Let's take the core out of it. So if I do cd.lot, git clone, we should see here my application. Okay, let's just go to this flatbear ts and do an npm install so I can actually get it up and running. Great. So I have some things here. Npm run test. Okay, great. Everything working. So let me just quit this. I can go to my library here and see what do I have here. So this is a library that is just for feature toggles. It allows you to actually get toggles and use things like public files. In any case, you, for example, could use also this GitHub public files. Sorry, my brain today is a little bit short, but the guest, you can use a guest. That's probably the backend, so you don't have to pay anything for feature flags. Ooh. Okay, so how can we use here? The current context is probably an any, great. Let's say we have context, conditions, we have strategy. Based on the context, this is the text. So let's see. Oops, why isn't here my ability to rewrite another thing? So let me just do a new session and say that this is going to do the model, default. No, I don't want new documentation. Can I add the code base? Add code base, add a new strategy. That is for using, what can we use? Computer, CPU, drive, and other to decide if to activate another local computer parameters to decide if to activate or deactivate a feature. So the idea behind this is say, hey, in this code base I have to add a new strategy, great. Whoa, okay, great. A lot of information here. At this point, the thing is, I don't know exactly what it actually wanted to do. So I'm going to do, hey, okay, create a new file. Great. Can I apply this directly? No, this is not the file I wanted to apply this. Reject all. Okay, so I understand now that this is not enough for it to actually say this. So I'm going to do a new file. It's going to be, oops, hey, this is not what I expected. Strategies, say that it's going to be called local.ts. Hey, not great naming. So let me not call it local.ts, but resources.ts. Great naming. And now what I can actually do is go back here, actually apply all this, and actually I prefer always to have a look because right now AIs are not really great at this. So it's actually saying that I have this toggle that I'm going to receive. Start also saying that it's any. It actually can. I could actually ask them to add this, and it's going to give me a set of conditions. And it's going to be if the current text, the condition dot field. So okay, condition from conditions. Oh man, condition dot field, condition dot value. Okay. So I imagine that the value here is CPU usage below is less than 80%. As you can see, it's trying to be a little bit is greater than 90%. Field is not assignable to time string. Okay, because it's already using some condition from a different model itself. Okay, well, we can start working with this. It's not really bad, to put it so. But as you can see, it's not also like really streamlined. Let's see what other things it actually says. Update the strategy map. So I'm going to go and open this file. No, this is not what I wanted. So I think that it's not very useful for it to be on the same side as this. So I'm going to be actually changing a little bit the output, how I have organized my screens. So if I go to my strategy map, strategies index, I can apply this, and it's adding the new local one. That okay, I named it differently, so it needs to be named resources. And it's telling me to get the current context. I imagine that when we actually ingest this, then the idea behind is that it actually need to read the context. It will be a good addition to the library. So the intention will be, hey, if you're getting really high on memory, maybe disable some features that might be high consuming ones. Hey, feature flags, not feature flags. We could have a long standing discussion if that is or not is not. Okay, but you can see a little bit of how it actually works. But right now, for example, I don't have a test. So let's say resources.spec.ts. Okay, remind me a little bit of this. So I want to describe and I'm going to say it should return true of value return true. Great. Okay, so with this in mind, let's just start. I've just hit right now tab. So let's see what's actually happening here. Expect. I actually imagine that this should go here. And this is from the resources, and this is exporting local, and the thing is it doesn't have a context, and so it actually needs a context, and it will not complain itself. Well, you can see how the completion is actually working more or less fine. You can decide for yourself if this is good enough or it isn't. So you can see continue is not a bad tool. You can use it locally. It's free at this point. You can see continue.dev. It's not completely free. You could use it with other models and actually pay for it. It's up to you. This spike is actually for using local models. You can also use it on JetBrains. I don't think it's a bad option, so feel free to have a look on it. With this in mind, the next thing I would say is there's other there's two routes that we can actually go. Today we'll probably only take one of them. There's other extensions for Visual Studio Code that you could actually use. And let me see what I can see here. Cody. No, this is from SourceGraph. I might think that I've tried this one. I'll get a look in a second. Let's say if I actually say Oyama to see if there's anyone being this cool. Okay, so with this in mind, let me do two things. Let me, first of all, say, see you later, continue, because with this in mind, now we're going to be having just our local model running. Kind of interesting if it was actually using Copilot on the last test that we actually did. Let's say, of course, now I disable. Let me enable it again. Now it was running as it should have been. Cool. So I'm going to disable this one, restart, and I'm going to say Oyama. And hey, one of the biggest ones says here is Oyama Coder. This is just for code completion. So let's have a look on this. We've installed it. It's active from what I understand. So if we do it again, okay, sure, I'm going to configure it. Let's go to settings, and here we are saying the settings of any extension will actually work the same. Let's say that we're going to use Oyama list here, and what we're going to use is the deep coder, exactly the same one that we were using before. So when you actually hit a space is what is actually going to make the extension actually work. So let me disable, let me enable. Let's try it again. So it should return false. Okay, so in this case, the extension is actually giving me things not as part of the editor, but as part of it wrote quite a lot of stuff. No. local toggle, name, type, resource, value. So it embedded quite a few tests. Oh, as I can imagine, none of these are going to actually pass. But that's actually fine. We're not actually looking here for the perfect stuff. I just wanted to actually give it a try. So hey, it auto-completes. It's not as user-friendly as continue, but something is something. I knew another one. Let's install this Kodi one. And Twinny was the one that I used at some point. So let's try this too. I think that those will actually be the things that actually make more sense. But let's go one by one, not be hasty. Okay, so hey Kodi, I'm going to disable you for a minute. I'm going to uninstall you, Oyama autocoder. So bye-bye. And I'm going to try Twinny. And let's go for Twinny. What can you do, Twinny? Ooh, history is actually here. Let me see how can I configure you. Languages. So it's enabled for all languages, great. These are parameters that you can configure. Hey, the Oyama host, great. Ports, does it tells me to select a model? Oh no, the model can actually be here, and I'm going to be using this one, my DeepSeek coder that we've been using all the time. And let's ask them to review pull requests. It can do become a symmetric provider. This is to provide to others, chat providers. I have this DeepSeek coder provider and the Twinny one. So there's a provider for chat, DeepSeek coder B28, like we've been doing till now. And this is the DeepSeek coder and embeddings. What else do we have here? So there are certain templates that you can actually enable, and you can create other templates. So templates are just prompts that you can actually define on Twinny. And embeddings, previous conversations. So let's say, hey Twinny, let me just, can I reference anything here? Yeah, I can say the workspace, add a new test file for, let's delete this one, move to trash. Let's start from a new conversation. Add workspace, add a new test for resources.ts that covers As you can see, it didn't actually match anything that I actually wanted him to do. This is the problem with models. I'm trying to tell them about the workspace. Maybe I need to be more mindful about what I'm telling them. So I'm going to copy the path. It's not for that resources is for this files. This file in its project. In any case, it also is, if you notice, is also saying it uses jest. That is actually not true at all. At this point, this this project is using vtests, so it's actually not capturing that. It's the fault of Twinny or the model, unknown. In any case, let's probably move on to another extension. Bye bye, Twinny. So before this, I'm going to actually take a small break, if you don't mind. I'm going to pause the stream. Be back in 5 minutes. So yeah, see you in 5 minutes.